Alright, today's video we are going to be doing some freezer meals. This is my third month doing this, and this has been so nice for our meals and putting these together so that I don't have to work hard on certain nights, and I can just pull one out of the freezer the night before and have it for our meal for the next day. Hi everyone, thank you for coming back to my channel. I'm Stephanie if you're new here. So today I'm going to share some freezer meals with you. I'm not going to be using the ones that I got from Crystal Lopez. I usually will share some of them with you, but I found some new ones, and we are going to be doing 10 freezer meals today. I still have some from last month to use. I have maybe like 5 or so of them yet. We're going to be doing 10 of them. The name of the page that I got off of Pinterest is New Leaf Wellness, and I found a couple good ones. Some of them are kind of similar to some of the ones that I did last month and the month before. So we're going to be doing slow cooker beef roast and carrot, cornbread chicken casserole, honey sesame chicken, Thanksgiving turkey, honey Dijon chicken, Asian chicken lettuce. That one, I think I used that one last month. Slow cooker shredded barbecue and white chicken chili, crock pot chicken fajitas, and chicken teriyaki. So these are the ones I wrote them down on a note just so I have them on hand on which ones I was gonna pick from this list. So she has 31 healthy crock pot freezer meals, and she says that they cost less than $10 or less to make them. So I got all of the stuff for these freezer meals on my grocery haul that I just did. I'll leave the link for that down in the comment section, and you guys can go back and check out that. I also am going to have a pantry tour or pantry restock video. So a lot of these are kind of all tied together because of my grocery haul and the things that I do with the food when we get them. So I show where we put the food, where we store it, and then I also share what we do with it. So a lot of times with the freezer meals, I'm kind of tying them in on nights that I know that I'm not going to be able to make another meal. So even if I don't have enough for the whole month, that's okay because I just need them for certain nights. So these are going to be good for this month. We are in November, and I think it's like another week or so before Thanksgiving. So for that Thanksgiving casserole, that might be something I can do that week or that weekend and tie that in with some of the leftovers for that weekend. So that will be good. The white chicken chili, I love white chicken chili, and I've never made it before. So I'm hoping this one is going to be just as good as ones that you can find at the restaurant or whatever. So I'm excited for that. So if you guys are new here, I'm a homeschool mom of 10 children. We have 8 kids that live in the house, but altogether there is 10 of us living in the house. And when we shop, we usually do a once a month grocery haul and then tie in little ones throughout the month. We get our fruits and vegetables like randomly through the month as they go from my grocery haul. And then we also store a lot of food out in our garage. We have a bunch of freezers and another fridge out there, 2 pantries, and that is mainly where we store a lot of our foods and stuff like that. So last month I cleaned out my fridge, or last month I cleaned out my freezer so I could put all of them freezer meals in there. And now that freezer is just for my freezer meals. And that is so nice because now I can just go in there and grab the meal that I want. I usually start them at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and they are done for supper. So as long as you're pulling them out the night before and thawing them out a little bit by the time supper starts. We kind of eat supper a little late. So by the time it's cooked, it is ready to go for us. So All right, we are gonna get ready here. I don't have anything prepped or cut or done. I worked today until like 1 something. So I didn't have enough time to like get some of that started. So we're gonna do all of that today in today's video. All right, for the first recipe, we are going to be working on cranberry pork roast. You just need a roast. I will leave the recipe down below and you can see what she has on there for what roast is best to use in a crock pot. I think she labels that on the recipe. Also, you're going to be adding some cranberry sauce, some whole berry cranberry sauce. And then I think I'm using minced onion right here. I have a lot of seasonings and stuff that we store out in our garage. So I just grabbed my bigger one because I didn't quite know what I all needed for these recipes. I also am going to be adding honey to this recipe. So you're going to have the cranberry, the minced onion, and she might have had something else for the onion, but this is just what I wanted to put in here. And then the honey. And that is it. Like, I wish I would have started these like years ago if I would have known how easy it was for me to make these freezer meals. All right, so I'm just going to place all the freezer meals behind me. And I was having one of my boys add them to my freezer just so that they didn't sit out on the counter. But I'm going to go ahead here quick and cut up all of my celery, my onions, and my carrots. I did get shredded carrots this time just because I didn't want to sit and peel carrots and I didn't want to have to do all that. So I made it easy on myself and just got these and I just cut them up a little bit and that is good. So for these recipes though, when I do these on a monthly basis, so I'm going to start doing them once a month. If I can keep up with that, I would like to because I really like these freezer meals. The problem is I don't do the prep work ahead of time for these freezer meals. So if I was smart, I would have had all of this cut up beforehand and then I could have just added it all to my bags or I had one of the kids on the side like cut up everything for me so that it would go faster. But that's what I needed to do. Oh, that's right. I still needed to do the red pepper and green pepper also. So I think I needed this for 2 of the recipes. We've been really enjoying the chicken fajitas. So I'm going to be adding that to some of the other freezer meals. But the chicken fajita recipe is delicious. So this is our 3rd time doing it. And it is so good. All right, so I'm going to go here quick and get this all cut up. And then we are going to move on to the next recipe, which is going to be the turkey stuffing casserole. For this recipe, it called for shredded turkey, like leftover shredded turkey, and I didn't have that on hand, so I got the oven-ready turkey, and I'll just kind of put it together the day that I'm going to be making it, but I will share that with you in just a minute, so I'm just going to finish up here quick and get this done, and then we'll move on to that recipe. So it's called the Thanksgiving casserole, and I feel with Thanksgiving being tomorrow as I edit this video, but I did this video like weeks ago, and I haven't been able to get it in on time, and I just wanted to be able to share it with you guys before Thanksgiving in case it would give you a little ideas on some things that you can look forward to for the month of December and get some freezer meals in your freezer. All right, so I'm going to add all my vegetables. I'm adding the carrots, the celery, and the onions to my foiled pan, and then I'm going to add the gravy. I added the gravy onto the side, but I am going to go over the recipe with you guys in just 1 minute. I also am going to be putting the seasoning on top, which is Italian seasoning. All right, for the Thanksgiving turkey one that we're going to be making, it asks for 4 cups of turkey shredded. I have the oven ready turkey in here, so we're going to do that. And then it also comes with a gravy packet, so we're going to use that. It also says 2 jars of turkey gravy, which I have my 2 jars of turkey gravy, but I think I'm just going to save it for the day when I put it in the oven. I cut up the onions, the celery, the carrots, and then put the Italian seasoning on top. So I think that is everything that I'm gonna do for right now. And when I make it, it asks for a package of egg noodles. It says thaw completely, bake at 350 for 20 minutes. So I think that's what I'm going I'm going to do, and then I'll probably just have like stuffing or something on the side when it comes to this. So I'm just gonna put some foil on this and then put that in the freezer. Okay. All right, so now we're gonna cut up all the chicken. So what I usually do, so I bought 2 big packs of chicken breasts, not the frozen kind this time. I do have that for some of the later recipes, but I bought 2 big ones and I cut them up in pieces and just added what I think would be good for our family. When I first did the freezer meals, I only added a little bit of chicken and it wasn't enough for our family. So now I'm kind of just eyeballing it for the recipe. I wasn't really following what she had on there. I just added what I felt would be good for our family size. So there's 10 of us in the house. And my older 2 usually don't come over for a meal, so I really don't include them in our meal time, but it is mainly just the 10 that are in the house, including me and my husband. So that's 10 of us. So for this recipe, I'm just going to be adding all of that to my freezer bag, and then I'm going to move on to the next recipe. So I'm going to just cut up all of this chicken so I have it all cut up for the next freezer meals. All right, for this next recipe, we are going to be making cranberry chicken. This is also one of our favorite recipes. I've been making this the last couple months also. This is something that you could make just right away. I mean, it doesn't take that much for this recipe to make. So you're just going to be adding some chicken breast, and I will leave the recipes and the names of the ones down below if you guys are interested, and then it'll tell you how much chicken breast and everything that you need to add. But I am just adding what I feel that is good enough for our family, and then I'm going to be adding some honey to this. I'm going to be adding some balsamic vinegar to this recipe. We're going to add some red pepper flakes. I'm also going to be adding just a little bit of olive oil to the bag also. These recipes, I try to have everything on hand, like behind the screen when I'm videotaping this. And if you guys saw the scattered mess behind, it's a mess, but it's something that you kind of need everything off to the side when you're making this, because you're going to be using a lot of the ingredients in a lot of your freezer meals. So I need to have a lot of it just on hand behind screen so that I can add it to some of these meals. All right, so I did add some garlic and then I added some onion, and that is it for that recipe. All right, so now we're going to move on to the chicken teriyaki. I just used a mixed vegetable. I think I got the wrong kind, so you want to make sure you get the right mixed vegetable for this recipe. Then I'm going to be adding my teriyaki sauce. I'm also going to be adding all of the chicken, so I was adding just a little bit more chicken to this recipe. All right, so now I'm going to be adding my honey, and then I'm also going to be adding garlic to this recipe. Okay, so now we are going to be moving on to chicken fajitas. All you're going to do is add a red pepper, green pepper. I'm not going to measure. I just know that I need a little extra for another recipe. And then I'm going to be adding my onions. And you basically can add anything that you want to your fajitas. You also can get a frozen bag of vegetables that have everything in it if you don't want to cut up all your vegetables. And then you just open up the bag, dump it all in, and you could do that also. Probably don't even need to really make this as a freezer meal because a lot of these are so easy and so basic that you could just add this to your crock pot right away and don't even need to make it up ahead of time. But with me just learning how to do freezer meals, it's so nice that I at least was able to try this out and have the ideas of having this stuff ready for me in the freezer. This has made my life so much easier when it came to putting, meals on the table for my kids and for my family. I love it. I am so happy that I was able to just kind of suck it up and do it, and I finally did it, and I love it. So I'm going to continue here, add all my seasonings, and that is going to be it for this recipe. A lot of these recipes are pretty basic and very easy to do. So mine is gonna be like how much chicken I actually have to be able to make all these freezer meals. So I do have more chicken on hand. I just need to go get it. So we're gonna do the honey Dijon chicken. All right, for this recipe, we are going to be making honey Dijon chicken. This is my first time making this one. I never seen this one before. I'm sure I have tried making it before in the past, but not as a freezer meal. And just learning on the basics of ingredients on what to add. Honestly, I feel like we could all just put some stuff in some freezer bags and not really even have recipes for it, just because it's so nice that you can just add your meat, your seasonings, and your sauces right to a bag, and that is a meal for your family. So I am just going to add the rest of my seasonings and stuff to this recipe. Now, I didn't make this recipe as of today as me editing this video and putting it out. I did not try this one yet, so I'm kind of excited to try this out, and I can't remember what it says that it is good to side with, but that is all on the recipe. All right, so I am done with this recipe, and we are going to move on to the next one. All right, so now we are going to move on to barbecue shredded chicken. I'm just going to add 2 bottles of barbecue sauce to my chicken breast, and then I think I need to add my onion and some honey to this recipe. If you can tell, I have all my seasonings and stuff off to the side there, but I needed to have everything right in front of me just so I can get these recipes done pretty quick. Next time, maybe I can do a little bit better with my prep work and get these done a lot faster, but I am learning as I go with making these, and I hope you guys are enjoying learning along with me. If you guys are new to freezer meals, let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear your experience with freezer meals and if you still enjoy making them and doing them for your family. It's honey sesame chicken. We're going to be using chicken thighs for this one. Garlic, honey, soy sauce, ketchup, onions, and red peppers. You don't have to put the red peppers in if you don't like it like that, and then salt and pepper. So usually with my chicken, I usually get the frozen chicken breasts or frozen chicken thighs. It just works easier for me than to have to cut up everything and do all that. But if you want better quality chicken, then I would suggest maybe going to a local place that you like that you can get your chicken from and just do it that way. But for me, I like to do my grocery hauls from Walmart, and it's just easier for me to do it and just get it frozen and in bags, and I can just measure it out to what I need for our recipes. We do butcher our own chickens, but I haven't got to the point yet where I cut them up in pieces for what we need for our family yet. So we just store our chickens whole and then I cook them as needed. So I'm not ready yet to get to that point where I'm using my own chicken for these freezer meals. I'm trying to just get everything done really fast and quick for mealtime for my family, and that would be another step that I would have to do to getting these in the freezer. So we're just going to start out this way for now as I learn, and then maybe gradually I can change into learning how to cut up our chicken that we have and doing it that way. But for right now, I'm going to be using the frozen or the chicken breast if I can find a good deal on chicken breasts for my freezer meals. All right, so I am done with that freezer meal. We are going to move on to the next one. All right, for this one, we are going to do white chicken chili. We're gonna do northern beans, a can of mild green chilies, diced tomatoes, and green chilies. I'm kind of sending the kids out as I need certain things. So that I don't have in here right now. 1 pound of boneless, skinless chicken breast, and then chicken broth is later. Okay. Can you get me a can of 8 ounces of chopped mild green chilies and a 10
can of diced tomatoes and green chili. What?
Do you want to take this with you?
8 ounce green chilies.
Green chilies and then tomatoes and green chilies. Kind of like Rotel almost, I think. All right, all right. So one of the things with us storing food, because we have pantries out in the garage that we store a lot of our food, I go over that. I think I said that in the beginning of the video. So it's nice that we can just go out there and grab everything that we need for when I do this stuff. So when I do the, but this one right now, Hudson's gonna go get me the cans that I need. I need frozen corn. So I just need the kids to kind of run out and get some of the stuff that I need. Eli, yes. Can you get a bag of, like a small bag of frozen corn or whatever you can? so we are going to be making white chicken chili. This is probably one of my favorite soups. I love having this kind of soup. So this was new for me though to make it, and I'm hoping that it tastes pretty good. So we needed to rinse off the beans first for this recipe. Now, I did look into another white chicken chili recipe, and the other recipes called for like heavy whipping cream or cream cheese for that recipe, and it did not call for that in this recipe. So when I ended up making it, I didn't realize that I should have added something like that to the soup. But now I know for the next time that I will be adding the cream cheese and heavy whipping cream for a more creamier white chicken chili. This was more of I don't know, the soup just wasn't as thick and creamy as I wanted it to be. But overall, the taste in it was really good. Lauren really liked it. The kids really liked it. It's funny to see the kids' reactions to what I make with these freezer meals. They really have been enjoying these. Now, when I make homemade meals for our family, I just make everything from scratch. Usually if I'm making a supper and I just sit at the stove and I make everything, and the kids are totally fine with that, but they love wondering what I have in the crock pot. So this has also been a real treat for my family, and them kind of guessing on what I'm making and what's going to be for supper for that night. So it's been fun and just a new learning curve with trying to get, just learning this and knowing maybe things that I can do a little faster. If you guys have any advice on how to get freezer meals done faster than what I've been doing, leave them in the comments down below. I would really appreciate it. I do find that these bag holders have been a blessing to make these meals. My kids love these little holders. They think it's funny that I'm able to even use them for this. They're like, that is such a great idea for making freezer meals. So I have a link for these little holders down below in my description, and you guys can get some of these. I think it's like a 2-pack. I actually should get more, and then I would be able to line up a bunch of freezer meals at one time, put all my chicken in, and then add all my seasonings, just have the recipes in front of all of them and just add as I go. But I think as I get better and better with making these freezer meals, I think it'll go faster and faster. I just need to learn how to do that and get it all done. But I'm learning, and I really, really have been enjoying making these, and we are going to continue here and get this done. And then we are going to move on to the next recipe. So for the Asian chicken, it's 2 pounds of ground chicken. I might just do turkey because that's what I have on hand. I didn't cook it, so I don't even have it prepared. So I'll do that later. But I will do all of the other stuff that needs to go in there. And that is red bell peppers, carrots, garlic, soy sauce, and ketchup and honey. So that's all I'm gonna put in that bag right now. All right, for this Asian chicken recipe, I think I messed up or I didn't explain it very well for this recipe. All I did is add the vegetables to the bag, and that was it. I remember the last time that I made the Asian chicken, I just added chicken breast to this recipe, and then that was it. Like, I added the vegetables and everything to it, and it was a really good recipe. But for this one, it was ground chicken, and I didn't have that ready for me to be able to use. I think I had like ground turkey or something. So all I did is just add my veggies and everything to this bag. I don't know. I added ketchup too. For some reason that was on this recipe for this Asian chicken, but the other one didn't have ketchup. So I think I'm just kind of making a sauce here. If you know what the sauce would be, if you're adding ketchup and soy sauce, what that would be. I'm guessing like a Hoisin sauce maybe. And I do have Hoisin sauce on hand, and I could have just added that. And I think that's what I added to the last recipe when I made the Asian chicken. So this is just how I did with this. And all I need to do is just add some chicken breasts and stuff to the crock pot to make this. Otherwise, you can use ground chicken for that recipe. To do barbecue chicken cornbread casserole. So I need chicken thighs we're going to do this time, green peppers, yellow onion, barbecue sauce, sharp cheddar cheese, which you don't use until that day, and then a box of Jiffy corn mix or corn muffin mix. I thought one of these... I think the turkey one that I did was supposed to have the cornbread stuffing mix, and I will add that. Like I said, that we'll have that with that one. But I have the cornbread stuffing mix. Can you grab me that box right there? All right, so this is what I'm going to add to that turkey one. I think that's the one that needed that one. I'm pretty sure. Let's see once. Okay, so I have, there's one that I'm not going to do. I'm not going to do the slow cooker beef roast and carrots. So I'm not going to do that one. We're going to do the barbecue chicken cornbread casserole. Now, I don't remember how many I did if I took that one out because I added some extra ones in there. But I'll go back and check and see how many I did. So I'm going to do the barbecue one right now. But the Jiffy corn muffin mix, it says the ingredients listed on the box, plus 1 egg and some milk. Not needed until the day. So we'll do that later. And then it just tells you how to put it together, how long to cook it for. This barbecue chicken cornbread casserole tastes great by itself or add it with a salad or a side. It says combine all the ingredients except for the corn muffin mix in a gallon-sized freezer bag. Remove all the air if possible, and then it can be stored up to 3 months. So we're gonna go ahead and do this one quick. All right, with making these recipes, you can do it any way that you would like. You can add your sauces, your vegetables, your seasonings, and everything to the bag first, and then add your meat to it, your chicken, your roast, whatever you are adding, I think would be fine. I don't know why I started out with the meat first when actually I think it would be better if I just did the vegetables and everything first to this, and then I wouldn't have to worry about touching the chicken, washing my hands. I've washed my hands so many times while I was making this video that my hands get really dry after making these freezer meals. But we are going to be adding some onions. So I didn't feel like cutting up another onion to make this recipe, so I just added this little bit. So I'm sure that it was supposed to have more for this recipe, but we are just going to go with that. Okay, so we are going to move on to the last recipe, which is going to be the curry chicken. I actually have the curry chicken in our crock pot right now. So we are on the night before Thanksgiving, and I popped that in for tonight for our recipe because tomorrow is Thanksgiving and I am not going to cook a big meal the night before we cook so much the next day. So you are going to add some chicken, some tomato paste. You also are going to be adding some minced onion to it And what else are we going to be adding? I have to wait here for a second to see what else we are going to be adding. All right, so we are going to add some garlic to this recipe. And we are also going to add, I wasn't prepared for this part of editing this part of the video, so just bear with me right now. We are going to be adding, I'm trying to wait here. What are we going to be adding? So we're going to be adding a bunch of seasonings to this recipe, and it's probably going to be curry powder, which I've never used curry powder before. So we're going to see if we even like this recipe. So this is a new recipe for us, but that was it. And I think I added some frozen peas also to this recipe, but we are done. Oh, I did add some honey to this recipe, but that was kind of last minute because I didn't see that on the recipe. But that is it, and we are done making all the recipes, and we are going to be adding these to my freezer. So I am excited to be done. I'm done making all the freezer meals. I don't remember what time I started. It took me about, I want to say like maybe an hour or two to get 12 freezer meals done. But if I would have had everything cut up ahead of time, I think it would have went a little faster and then had everything at the table that I needed, and I didn't do that. So it took me a little bit longer to kind of get everything in order for this, but the more I do it, I'll probably get better and get them done faster. So, and I don't know how many I'm going to do each month. It all depends on what recipes I find. But for these, I think these are going to be good ones that I'm going to use for November and probably December, depending on, because we're probably not going to have a crock pot meal every single night. So, I'll just kind of tie it in with some nights that we need something that I'm not going to be able to like make a meal or whatever. And I'm going to put them out in that one freezer that I cleaned out just for the freezer meals. That is everything that I wanted to share with you guys today. I will list all of the ones that I did down below in the description. I will leave the link for this pack down below, and you guys can just print it off. You won't have to purchase this one, but I'll put the name of the person that I got it from Pinterest, so that you guys can maybe like go back and find more of her stuff. I also will leave Crystal's packs down below too, and then you guys can go check out all the ones that she has. She has really good ones. Them are the ones that I shared last month and the month before. So it seems like some of these are repeated, even if it's different people. They must be just like basic freezer meals that a lot of people do. So with me just learning about this and doing this after how many years of having kids, that I should have probably did this like a long time ago, but it really wouldn't have fit into our life. I don't think at the time, even when I had little ones, I wouldn't have had enough time to even prep with all the little kids that I had. And then I had twins, and I always had a toddler or a baby, or I was always nursing. So for me, if I would have maybe did it before I had the babies, like ahead of time, like a month or two before, if I had the energy to be able to do that, but I still always had toddlers and bigger kids. So sometimes that was kind of hard. I also have grandkids that are the same ages as my younger ones, and I also take care of them once in a while. So I never really had time to be able to do this kind of stuff until now. So Evelyn, or my youngest, is 5. I still feel like this is good for our family now, just because we're busy in a different way, and I can just kind of take these out and do them, that day in the afternoon. I usually just put them in. So these have been amazing for us. I feel, just even for myself, to be able to do this, because I struggle with meal times, and sometimes it's, we'll make homemade meals for certain suppers, but then we're doing everything at the stove, and we're trying to get it done in time, and this just makes everything so much easier. Another thing with these freezer meals, on the bottom of the paper, it tells you what it goes good with. So some of these are like rice and green beans, some say salad, some say noodles. So it has, this one says broccoli and brown rice. So I like that also because then I can prepare ahead of time the sides that I need to add to these meals. So that is everything for today's video. So if you guys are interested in more freezer meals, I am going to do them just once a month for a video, and then I share my grocery hauls, my pantry restocks, and then whatever else that I'm going to be making for maybe just like fun things and stuff for meals. But that is everything for today's video. So don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.